Okay, hello and welcome. I'm Jason Gumpert from MSDynamicsWorld.com, and we're here for a new session in our Fall 2014 Financial Automation webcast series. This is our vendor shootout. It's been a busy season here in terms of webcasting. We've run quite a few sessions on a variety of financial automation related topics, and I would invite you to go back and check those out in our webcast library. Most of them are already up and available on demand. We couldn't, of course, run such a series without the support of some of our sponsors, and I want to thank them for being a part of it. Today, representatives from these firms will be presenting on their vision for different kinds of financial automation capabilities in the dynamic space. We have presenters today from Avalara, Bottomline Technologies, Metafile, and ReadSoft. Each presenter will have 12 minutes and will begin in just a moment. We do invite you to ask your questions of our presenters today using the Q&A block that you'll see on the right side of the screen. We'll be saving questions until the end, but we do welcome you to enter them anytime, and we'll make sure that our presenters have time at the end to take as many as they can. So without further delay, let's get things started. I'm going to introduce our first presenter today. That is Tim Sullivan of Avalara. Tim, I'm going to pass control to you. And open the phone line.
I've got it open.
I hear you now. Yep.
Perfect. Well, let's get this thing going. So we've got we have 12 minutes. So if you can give me a 2-minute heads up, that'd be great. Welcome, everybody. I thought I'd take a little bit of a different approach this morning. So rather than start with slides about Avalara, the bunch of customer logos, pictures of our offices, etc., I thought I would start with a couple stats to really describe the problem that we solve for our customers. And I thought I'd tell the story using some numbers. And the numbers I'd put on the screen today, 400, 10, 96, and 2. And here's what the numbers really represent. Aberdeen Research actually did a study, and they interviewed 400 tax and accounting professionals. And they gave them a 10-question quiz on state and local taxes. And after the folks took the quiz, they actually polled them, and 96% of the accounting professionals said they think they passed the test with flying colors. But in actuality, only 2% passed the test. So the question I wanted to pose to everybody on the call today is, if only 2% of accounting professionals are able to pass a state and local tax test, and they all think that they passed it, how well do you expect them to perform and protect your best interest as a customer and a company when this is not their core business? So I thought I'd kind of frame it up and say, well, if CPAs can't get it right, that's the first step. But the other thing is they really don't want to be sales tax experts. Sales tax is essentially not a priority for anybody, even the CPAs, which is ironically our largest source of referrals. CPAs are largely getting out of the sales tax business as they just can't keep up with the changing laws, and they can't actually make money on the service. And just to put it in context, there was over 2,500 rules and rates changes in the month of July alone. So I think I'd pose another question for everybody here on the phone, which is, what other things could you do with the time and money that you're currently spending today on compliance that would have a better impact on the business? And to personalize it, I thought I'd tell a little story. We have an employee at our company. Her name is Brooke, out of our North Carolina office. Her mother, Dana, is actually a CPA in North Carolina and has been in business for 35+ years. She spends 2 weeks a year going through training to keep up with her certifications. And I asked her when I met Dana, how well could she actually advise her clients on sales tax rates and rules in the adjacent states, so South Carolina, Virginia, and Tennessee. And she said that even though she's been doing this for 35 years, she couldn't advise any customers because she's not specialized in sales tax. So the question I would pose is, if somebody who's been doing this for 35 years is at the top of her profession, readily admits that she can't keep up with the changes and can't advise her clients on it, have you ever asked your CPA how well could they keep up with the updates that your business requires? And the exact quote that Dana gave us was this: doing sales taxes as a CPA would be the equivalent of going to medical school and cleaning bedpans for the rest of your life. So this is somebody who's been doing it for 35 years and doesn't make it a priority. So essentially, now that we've kind of gone through that stuff, I wanted to kind of talk about what we provide our customers. And the three questions I wanted to pose to everybody really quickly are these. One, what if you never had to update a tax table in Dynamics again? Two, what if you never had to manage exemption certificates again? And three, what if you never had to fill out another state sales tax form and only had to quickly approve forms that were created for you? If that's interesting, that's essentially what we do. And so the three things that we wanted to talk about today are three products that we provide to our clients. So what is our tax solution, or AvaTax? Well, simply it's this. It's a cloud-based calculation engine that integrates with Dynamics. What does it do? It automatically calculates tax jurisdictions, rates, and rules for every transaction. And what does this mean for you folks that are on the call today? It means that you don't have to be the tax expert or pay consultants to research and keep up with the tax rules and rates changes. For our certificate capture product, what is it? It's an exemption certificate management technology. What does it do? It manages, stores, and organizes tax exemption certificates and has a built-in system to inform your clients when changes or updates are needed. What does this mean for you as a Dynamics customer? You no longer need to keep these exemption certificates in an accordion file or scan them into a separate system that's not related to your taxability. And finally, our returns product. What is it? It's an outsourced state and local tax return service. What does it do? It automatically reconciles your tax liabilities and then files and remits payment on your behalf to the states. What does this mean to you? It means you no longer have to spend hours or days manually reconciling or preparing your returns. So that's a little bit about the problems that we solve. It's a little bit about the solutions we provide to our clients. But really I wanted to do one quick slide on how the product actually works. We mentioned we're a tax engine in the cloud, and everything really starts with the local, state, and local governments. State and local governments go out there and they will create rules and rates changes. I shared a stat that in July alone there was over 2,500, so there's a constant update by all the states in terms of the rules and rates for both sales and use tax that they put out every single month. We take all those rules and rates and we put them into our cloud service, and how you as a Dynamics customer get access to all this information is simply we have a connector that allows you natively from the Dynamics ERP products or CRM products to connect into our cloud service. So every single time you're creating an invoice, it'll automatically calculate the sales tax for that particular transaction. After that, it actually takes your transaction data, puts it back into the cloud, and then actually allows you to automatically fill out the returns and actually file and remit payment on your behalf to the government. So simply put, that's how our product works. The next step is, that's cool, how does it work with Dynamics? Well, this is where it's really, really exciting for us and for the people on the call today. It's a very simple thing. Essentially, inside of customer maintenance, there's your tax schedule ID. We override that with a simple word, AvaTax, and that points, it disables your tax tables and actually points it to our cloud service. So what does it do after you've got the product activated inside of Dynamics? Well, I have a couple GP screens up here today, and the point I wanted to make is there's no additional screens, there's nothing else you need to learn. If you're using GP and customer maintenance, it's the exact same screens. However, you'll get a little neat button over here that will say, we validated the address against all the United States Postal Service codes. And what that means for you is you're going to make sure that it has not only accurate taxability, but the product is going to be shipped to an actual location, because there's nothing like having a customer experience where a product gets shipped somewhere incorrectly or gets returned. So after the addresses are validated, it automatically and accurately calculates all the sales tax transactions natively inside the application. So that's how we do it from Dynamics in terms of calculating sales tax. How do we do it for certificate management? Well, I call it certificate management as simple as 1, 2, 3. So gone are the days where you're sitting at your desk with hundreds and hundreds of exemption certificates sitting in accordion files at your desk. What we do is a little bit different. And so step one is simply this. Inside of our AvaTax console, we're going to initiate a request. Think of a request as something like a mail merge, where it simply sends out an email to all your clients asking them to simply click on a link and then fill out a form. And on the form up here, the client's going to put in their name, their exemption certificate number, what products and states they're exempt for, as well as any expirations. They can digitally sign it from their computer, and the output will be a form in the correct format that will be sitting inside of your system and also integrated to your Dynamics ERP environment so that when a transaction comes, you know that the client is exempt. So we talked about the calculation piece. We talked about the certificate management piece. Now we're going to be talking about the returns piece. And this is how easy we want this to be for you. At the end of the month, you simply go to something that we call a liability worksheet. So gone are the days of pulling reports to have to look at what you sold and how much tax you collected in which states, counties, jurisdictions, or parishes. We have all that information inside of here. You simply scroll there saying, here's my sales, here's what's exempt, here's my taxable items, and I can click over here, click approve. It automatically fills up the form, and then we'll actually file and remit payment on your behalf. And for all the people here that are asking about internal reports as well, any internal report, again, by county, state, parish, whatever you need it from, is going to be automatically pulled out of the system. So we talked a little bit about the problems out there, the products we have, and then we talked about, how does the product actually work inside of Dynamics. I thought I'd now bridge in the time we have here on why do customers choose to outsource this? So I thought I'd personalize it by saying, Wakefield Research asked a couple thousand accountants or CFOs and accountants at companies, if you were to have an auditor walk in tomorrow, how likely is it that you would pass an audit? And the results came back and said 50-50, which is essentially the same as flipping a coin. So the question I would ask everybody in the call here today is, what other business activity do you personally do today where the best possible outcome is the flip of a coin? And so without going through all the time that they found people spend doing this, I thought I'd leave you with one stat, which is whether you're a small business, a mom and pop, or a Fortune 500 company, on average, our clients see a 5-month payback period when they outsource this to Avalara. And what that means for you is simply we can do it better, faster, and cheaper. So customers outsource this largely because of the time aspect of it. The second reason they outsource it is because of risk. So again, I thought I'd put some numbers on here that really were illuminating to me, which is 47% of the state revenue comes from sales tax. 31 states are projecting a shortfall. $55 billion is what the shortfall to the state's budget looks like, of which $24 billion is from uncollected sales tax, which means you're 3 times as likely to get audited for sales tax than from the IRS, and the states are hiring a ton of auditors. But to personalize it, here is actually a form that one of our clients sent us back in September from the California State Audit. And this is the risk you want to avoid. In an audit, it actually requires you to send the names and every single detailed item you sent to all of your customers. So what worst thing could possibly happen is that your clients get audited as a result of you doing something incorrect on the sales tax side. So that's the risk piece. And then finally, aggravation, which we talked about. Our largest source of leads are from CPAs, because they just don't want to do this anymore. I looked on LinkedIn and found 26,000 unfilled accounting jobs with the word sales tax. So the question I would ask everybody is, we came out of the worst recession in the last 100 years, and people still don't want to do this particular job function. Why would anybody else on this call want to do it? And lastly, our customers are delighted with the service. Once they outsource, they continue to outsource. So I'll close on this. We talked about why you'd want to outsource this function. Here's my one-page thing on why you should outsource to Avalara. We're a 10-year-old company based outside of Seattle, right across the sound from Microsoft. We have 10,000 customers. We activate 300 a month, which is 10 times more than anybody in the industry. We calculate 2 billion transactions for our customers. We actually remit 14 billion on behalf of our clients a year. And most importantly, we're the #1 sales tax compliance partner for Microsoft with all kinds of awards and certifications. So with that,
and we are at time.
I'm at time. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time here today.
Thank you, Tim. We are going to next go to David Leonard of Bottomline Technologies. David, I'm going to pass you control and open up your phone line. Let's see here.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
All right. Please go ahead.
I'll begin by asking and ensuring that Jason, you're able to see that? See my presentation?
Yes. Yeah, I do see the slide.
All right. Thank you, Jason, and thank you all for joining the vendor shootout today. We know you're keen to learn how companies such as Bottomline can help streamline your financial document processes. Tim from Avalara just took you through how their solution helps streamline the tax process, and today I will focus on how you can automate your accounts payable process while leveraging your Dynamics and SharePoint investments. As Jason noted, my name is Dave Leonard with Bottomline. I've been with the company for nearly 14 years and in this financial document automation space for over 20 years. And as we have an abbreviated amount of time in this session, what I look to do is provide a high-level overview that I'm sure will pique your interest in AP automation that leverages both Dynamics and SharePoint, and of course welcome you to inquire further at a later time. Industry studies such as the one from Aberdeen last year tell us that companies such as yourself are looking to drive operational efficiencies and reduce costs as the primary reasons to look at AP automation. We know there could be a number of other reasons, and of course this list here is not all inclusive, but more interestingly is these two are directly related in that if you drive more efficiencies, you'll naturally reduce costs. Now, with that said, we also know the primary reason AP departments lack efficiency and elongated times to process invoices is simply because for many it's still a paper-based world with many touch points. The majority of invoices are still received via mail, although email attachments are becoming more prevalent, but still opened, printed, and then bringing you back to paper. In some cases, companies are still decentralized and have no visibility to invoices and where they are in the process. And in other cases, AP may receive and manually route out for coding and approval, and sometimes multiple approvals, and then they have to deal with matching exceptions and need to contact the buyer, et cetera, all the while manually keying this data back into the dynamic system. The manual process doesn't stop there, as the net outcome of invoices being processed and vouchered into Dynamics are payments, which of course lead to other manual processes. The net result is a slow, labor-intensive, and very costly process. We'll focus our attention more on the AP side of the invoicing, not so much the payments today. Now, with Bottomline, we provide solutions that help bring the organizations like yourself on the call efficiencies and a faster time to process the invoices, and then strengthen the relationships between buyers and vendors. Now, our Transform AP for SharePoint manages the invoice process, and then we have another component referred to as Paymode X, and that helps streamline the payments process via our supplier network portal for payments. Again, as I mentioned, we'll focus on the invoice side today. Now, what I want to do is take a few moments, and I want to speak specifically about why leverage Dynamics in SharePoint. Invoice processing is not new to the industry, and the fundamentals for processing invoices will likely be covered by everyone else you hear today. But equally important is the technology in which the solution is built on, and this is an important piece of differentiation. So for Bottomline, Transform AP solution leverages both your Dynamics and SharePoint investment. To begin with, Dynamics itself utilizes SharePoint as its foundation. For example, those of you with AX or GP might be using the Enterprise portal, and you know that's SharePoint. SharePoint is included with Dynamics, and it's the fastest growing content management platform on the market. Leveraging this technology provides you many benefits. First and foremost, SharePoint, it's an enterprise content management platform that can be utilized across your entire organization for all your document storage and retrieval needs, as well as document collaboration. It's not just for invoices. It also eliminates the need and the cost for having a disparate system requiring further training, configuration, administration, and maintaining of that system. It's certainly not a proprietary system. It has a broad base of resources and talent that may already exist internally within your organization, and certainly a large ecosystem externally. Because Transform AP is built directly into SharePoint, not just sending files into SharePoint, as well as tightly integrated with Dynamics in real time, you're also able to ensure data integrity throughout the process and drive further efficiencies. In short, you don't need another system. Why not leverage what you already have? With that said, let's take a few moments at how Transform AP specifically can drive those operational efficiencies and lower costs. And the key to any AP automation system is getting invoices captured up front in the process. So we'll break this down into three very individual distinct steps here. By utilizing an image and data capture solution such as our Transform Active Capture, paper can be eliminated from the downstream processes and metadata collected automatically without any manual data entry. Now, for some organizations, they may not want to touch the paper process at all and know that Bottomline provides an invoice data capture service whereby vendors can send invoices to a PO lockbox and simply remove the internal mailroom function and capture process altogether. Now, once this is achieved, driving workflow automation through automated matching, GL coding, and approvals online, while being able to audit and track each step of the process, generate reports, and then drive other key performance metrics is vital. And this is achieved with Transform AP running within SharePoint itself. Now, lastly, validating all the information and integrating seamlessly in the dynamics so that vouchers are created automatically without having to rekey any of the data. So if we break each one of these down, with the several minutes we have left, I can take a quick look at each of these. So we start with the advanced capture. So we do provide that advanced OCR. It provides your users from manually keying in that data. And with our learn-on-the-fly technology, the system reduces that data entry to a minimum whereby only exceptions are being reviewed. Then, of course, you can introduce validation rules that will also help automatically decipher what values should be what they need to be in, or they're in question, such as if it needs to be a date, if it's a number, if it's a currency, etc. And the overall goal here is not to have AP users bogged down and keying all the data in, rather just be dealing with the exceptions and then focusing on more important tasks. Now, when we look at workflow automation begins by users viewing their specific queue of invoices to be processed, and that's done directly within SharePoint. So by logging into SharePoint, leveraging their AD credentials, they can view a list of those invoices, and then based on the type of invoice they are, whether it be PO or non-PO, they can work with them individually. So there are pre-built workflows for both purchase orders and non-purchase order invoices. And what we can see here is a non-PO invoice display with Transform AP's task form that provides a split-screen view of the image and key in the metadata and grid for GL coding. Transform AP can also assign coding templates to help vendor invoices automatically have GL coding data entered, again, reducing that manual data entry. Now, in the case of PO-based invoices, there can be automated matching to attain straight-through processing, but in the event of an exception, you can see users are able to pull back the PO receipt lines in real time and then manage the exceptions from there, including tolerance settings, and even if they need to, forward off to other users for exception processes. If we extend this out further, we know many users outside of AP are involved with processing invoices, whether this be field personnel doing the actual GL coding or perhaps approving. What's important is that multiple methods are available to allow for notification, as well as they are able to interact with the process. Now, Transform AP provides pre-built workflows for routing and exception handling, complete with email, smartphones, and mobile applications. And to ensure invoices don't stay in someone's queue indefinitely, there's even the ability to set up reminders, auto escalations, as well as delegation rules for times when people are out of office. Again, all helping to drive efficiencies and reduce costs. Now, as invoices come into the system and get processed behind the scenes, Transform AP is logging every action into the audit trail, which can not only be used for compliance purposes, but also leverage in generating reports such as accrual reports, deriving processing trends to see where bottlenecks might occur so that more proactive measures can be achieved to drive better behaviors and efficiencies. And lastly, Transform AP maintains direct real-time integration with Dynamics throughout the process and all the way through to voucher creation without requiring any rekeying of data, including payment synchronization to complete the loop. In addition, invoices can be opened and viewed directly within Dynamics by simply adding a facility that opens and displays the document right there on screen, as well as other related or supporting documents stored in SharePoint. So if we bring this all back around, what we'll see here is that working with Bottomline on your AP solution, it gives you all the benefits that you would expect to receive with real-time integration into both Dynamics, leverage your existing SharePoint platform. It is a packaged solution out of the box with a lot of pre-built out-of-the-box functionality, and naturally you can improve the accountability, visibility, reporting, and overall productivity. So as we've gone through all those pieces of Transform AP there in that short time frame, just a little bit about the organization that stands behind it. You'll see that Bottomline is a global organization. We have offices all throughout the globe, including the U.S., EMEA, and Asia-Pac. Well over 1,300 customers and 1,300 employees and 10,000 customers. And you can see we're traded publicly, so if you'd like to learn more about us financially, you can certainly do that. It was noted on the previous session, or the previous piece, that talked about some credentials, and credentials are a big part of validating the vendor that you do business with. Bottomline heavily invests its time and resources in products and have an array of programs and partnerships and awards that reflect our presence in this space. You can see several of these here. I'll just comment on a couple of these. Lastly, in our Microsoft President's Club Award, each year Microsoft recognizes its highest performing Dynamics partners. That's for demonstrating exceptional levels of growth while leveraging and delivering innovative solutions that have helped their customers drive their businesses forward. We're also part of the TAP program, so we get early releases and offer feedback to Microsoft, as well as get insight to early releases of their products so we can keep ours up to date. With that said, I'll just round it out with my details here on the very last page. I appreciate your time, and we welcome any further questions, and reach out to us via our website or my contact details here. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, David. We are going to now move on to our next presenter, and that is Bob Hawley of Metafile. Bob, I'm going to give you control and open up your line.
Jason, you can hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Great. Let's see, I don't see the button that I need to push to share my screen.
You should have control now. Do you have access from the share menu, perhaps? Let me try. I could maybe. Hold on one second. Let me retry that.
Thank you. Got it.
All right.
So are you able to see my screen at this point?
No. Try sharing it again through the share menu in the upper left.
All right. How about now?
It's starting to come up, and now I see it.
Perfect, thanks. So thank you very much, Jason, and welcome all the attendees that are here today. I wanted to do a quick introduction of myself. My name is Bob Hawley. I'm the Western Region Manager for Metafile Information Systems. Like Bottomline and like ReadSoft, who you're about to hear after me, we are a financial automation solution. MetaViewer is the product name. Most companies know us by the word MetaViewer as opposed to Metafile Information Systems, but it's a pleasure to be here and talking to you all. I want to start by talking a little bit about company background, who Metafile is. We've got about 35 years of experience in the document management industry. MetaViewer is an enterprise document management solution. So although the focus today is financial automation, MetaViewer can extend far beyond that into areas like contract management, medical record storage, HR document storage and workflow. It truly is an enterprise size system. It is scalable, so it can be scaled down or be scaled up depending upon your needs. We're a privately held company located out of Rochester, Minnesota. I'm here in Southern California, again, as the Western Region Manager. We've got thousands of installations of MetaViewer worldwide. And because we are a 35-year-old company, we have integrations built to many different ERP systems, but surely for the focus of this call, the 4 ERP systems that are Dynamics, Dynamics AX, Dynamics GP, Dynamics SL, and Dynamics NAV. We've built in a kind of out-of-the-box integrations to those ERP systems. Some questions you need to ask if you're looking to automate your financial processes, whatever they might be. If you're looking for solutions to do that, is the solution a browser-based solution, or is it a client-server solution? In other words, users will get to documents and approve documents or do coding of documents. How? Will that be through a client that's installed on each workstation, or will that be using their favorite browser, whatever that might be? Google Chrome, IE, Safari, you name it. Is full text searching of documents available? So that's another really good question. In the world of finance, that might not be super important, but it surely is important if you take the solution outside of the financial world, in human resources, for example, or contract management. Those areas of your business might want to do document searches by doing Google-type searches to retrieve a set or a document itself. So if you're interested in full text searching, ask if it's something that they have available. Does the system offer document reading technology, which can greatly reduce data entry? So if they do, you probably want to know how much does that piece alone, add to the solution cost for your financial automation solution, document management solution, if you will. Are there acquisition options available? Is the solution available to purchase? Is it available via the cloud? Or you can have it with MetaViewer, that is, you can have it on-premise as a subscription model. So we can actually deliver the technology to you the same way that you would get it if you purchased it, only instead of buying it, you're actually paying for it on a monthly basis via subscription. So the on-premise subscription model is a hybrid model of a traditional purchase for technology, just like you've purchased Dynamics potentially, and the cloud version, kind of a blended solution, if you will. More questions. How much automation do you want for document workflow? The systems that are presenting today have various levels of automation available. So you want to make sure to ask, does the solution meet your needs in the document workflow area to eliminate human intervention? Auto routing of documents. How about auto routing or auto rerouting of documents based on whether the document is stagnant or not? So various levels of workflow automation. The more automation that is offered, the less human intervention that is needed to process a document through a workflow process. What integration methods are available? This is a really key question. How does the document management solution pull and push data to Dynamics? You really want to understand the integration method that each solution that you look at uses. For example, our integration method is different for Dynamics AX than it is for Dynamics GP. There's different tools available to do that. So you really want to ask the solution provider, how do they take invoice data or purchase order data from customer purchase orders that come into you if you're using the system to automate your sales order process? How do they take that data and push it to Dynamics? That's very important to understand. Can the system integrate with other applications? Like, hey, I'm using an HRIS system, or I'm using SharePoint. Can you integrate with that? The answer for MetaViewer is yes to both. And there might be other systems that you want to have a document management solution or a financial automation solution integrate with. So you want to make sure that it is compatible for integrations outside of your ERP Dynamics. And lastly, what dashboards and reporting tools does the system come with? You should ask each of us to see what we offer. We offer several that are out of the box. We offer you the ability to build your own dashboards. And the dashboards and the reporting tools that are offered are really designed for two purposes. Number one, to give you quick, easy visibility to see where documents are in workflow. And number two, to give you a historical perspective of the performance of the workflow documents that have gone through the system. So what is MetaViewer? MetaViewer is a browser-based document management solution. It has zero footprint for the user workstations. Any browser will work. We're fully integrated with all Dynamics versions, or ERP systems, and SharePoint. And we've got some document reading technology that no one else in the industry has. So at its, here's kind of an overview of a typical accounts payable system. At its core, MetaViewer is a document repository. Think of it as an electronic filing cabinet. It has a module that reads document, in this case, invoices. Invoices come in via paper, and invoices come in electronically as well. MetaViewer has a couple of different pieces in that accelerator module which can extract the data from the invoice. You'll also produce documents in Dynamics and potentially in SharePoint and potentially in other systems like Word or Excel. Those documents can also be stored in the repository. For accounts payable, MetaViewer comes pre-configured or pre-built, if you will, with two different workflows. Now for AP, invoices aren't just invoices. There's really two different types of invoices. There's purchase order related invoices and there's non-purchase order related invoices. So different workflows happen for each of those. For non-PO invoices, they need to be approved and GL coded. And for purchase order invoices, they need to be matched and reconciled against the purchase order. We offer multiple retrieval options. You can, of course, look up documents via the browser. You can look up documents via buttons that we place on the Dynamics windows. You can we can share our web parts. If you're a SharePoint installed customer, we can share our web parts with a SharePoint window and allow you to perform document searches from SharePoint. And lastly, as an optional module, we offer Vendor Portal. And Vendor Portal gives your vendors the ability to access and look up the status of their own invoices so they don't have to make a phone call to you to see what the status of that invoice is. I'm going to switch out of this here, and I'm actually going to go into the MetaViewer homepage, and here you see it. Now, there's documents that have been read, and they have landed in this verification queue. There's 11 documents. They're both PO documents and non-PO documents, and I'm going to take a quick look at this document right here. And I'm going to verify the information that's been read from this invoice. Make this a little bit smaller so you can see more of it. I'll verify the information that it's been read from the invoice, and now I'll go ahead and assign it off to Joe. I click the word verified, and off it goes to Joe for approval. Now, it could be that Joe is a simple approver. It also could be that Joe does GL coding, and that's all done inside of MetaViewer. Just a quick peek at MetaViewer. Back to the home page, you see the dashboards that I showed earlier now have been updated. Joe has 2 documents, and Sally also has 2. Both of those are waiting for approvals. These dashboards can be modified quickly and easily by clicking the Modify button so that you can see where documents are in workflow quickly and easily. And again, my name is Bob Hawley. I'm a Western Region Manager for Metafile Information Systems, and there's much more to show you. Take a look at us if you're interested in automation in any form, financial or otherwise. My contact information is on the screen down the lower left-hand side. Thanks very much for your time.
Okay, thank you, Bob. We are now going to move on to our next speaker, and that is Mark Aranza of ReadSoft. And before I get to Mark, though, I was asked by our last webcast series sponsor to just read a brief statement. That's Perceptive Software, and then I will hand it off to Mark. So, as you may have heard in recent news, Lexmark International, the parent company to both Perceptive, partner company to Perceptive Software, has acquired a controlling interest in ReadSoft. Both Perceptive Software and ReadSoft sponsored this financial automation webcast series. Perceptive has elected to defer the spotlight to ReadSoft in this particular vendor shootout, and ask that we share the following message with you. The acquisition of ReadSoft and its integration into the Perceptive Software portfolio reinforces Lexmark's core value proposition. Lexmark's focus on customers worldwide and its commitment to revealing technology solutions in hardware, software, and services brings a precise mix of capabilities together to solve problems on an industry-specific basis. The integration of ReadSoft into the Perceptive Software portfolio brings additional strength to Lexmark's and Perceptive's core values of technology innovation, industry expertise, and customer focus. And it enables ReadSoft and Perceptive Software to deliver an end-to-end solution for total financial process automation. So with that, Mark, I'm going to hand it off to you. Please feel free to kick it off.
Great. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate that. Let me go ahead and share my desktop. Please let me know when you can see it.
We do see it.
All right, great. Well, we are excited to participate in this fall's 2014 Financial Automation Webcast Series. My name is Mark Aranza, and I am a Microsoft Dynamics Technical Manager for ReadSoft. So let's get started. ReadSoft simplifies business for some of the world's largest corporations, as well as small and medium-sized enterprises, with our offerings for automating business processes. These processes are common within organizations' process, such as accounts payable, accounts receivable, and multi-channel process automation. Our applications integrate seamlessly with ERP systems, such as SAP, Oracle, and Microsoft Dynamics, to mention a few. Our experience stems from encountering these challenges from some of the world's Fortune 1000 companies running large and complicated ERP systems. We realize that accounts payable processing, no matter the size of the organization, has similar challenges. We address those challenges, and with that experience, we are now offering this solution to you. So how do we address those challenges? ReadSoft application extracts information from business documents such as invoices, forms, claims, and sales orders, whether they are electronic or in paper format. The extracted information is used for automated document sorting, information matching against ERP systems, and approval workflows. Entire process chains are automated, such as purchase to pay, order to cash, and mailroom processing. Our solutions are offered both on-premises and cloud-based technology. ReadSoft has the most widely used solution for automated invoice processing in the world. We have more installations than the rest of the market combined. This offering can be delivered either on-premise, in the cloud, or as a hybrid solution. ReadSoft provides solutions across different industries, from manufacturing, banking, and government agencies, and there's a common need to handle business-critical data from documents in an efficient, cost-effective manner, and ReadSoft can provide that solution for you. Streamlining AP with e-invoicing workflow automation can improve performances and ultimately boost a company's bottom line through these 4 key benefits as identified by PayStream advisors. If we look specifically at efficiency and visibility improvements, finance and AP can both update their image within the organization and better their professional standings. When efficiency is increased through an electronic automated process, there are fewer supplier inquiries, fewer late payments, delaying additional orders, better opportunities, taking the potential discount in exchange for early payment instead of fees for late ones. No longer can AP be blamed in losing an invoice when it can be electronically tracked. For vendor relations and control, the benefits around vendor relations and control are significant. E-invoicing and vendor portals offer a collaboration with suppliers where they can not only view status of their invoice, but also get ahead of the process by entering invoices themselves or converting PO transactions into invoices for quicker management with the transactions and response. Controlling these financial processes not only ensures enforcement of such processes, but also improves auditability and allow AP to feel confident that their organization's regulatory requirements are being adhered to. With all the business opportunities for automating and gaining efficiency, it's important to remember the reasons for automation and who benefits within the organization. Many departments or individuals outside of just AP are affected with a financial automation initiative. It touches anyone who purchases goods and needs to provide approval, as well as those involved in financial planning and cash management. So how do we know all this? Outside of our close relationship with industry thought leaders like Payship Advisors and the Institute of Financial Operations, among others, we have 12,000 customers processing more than 500 million invoices per year through ReadSoft systems. In addition to that, we also have Perceptive Software's customers. With that, we more than likely have the largest amount of AP and back office solution experience in the market today. Through this experience, the solution has become efficiently scalable. So those thousands of customers we have range from the smaller organizations processing 5,000 to 6,000 invoices per month to upwards of 500,000 invoices per month, excuse me. Last but not least, we have global expertise. We understand that though everyone may have similar issues and pain points with paying invoices, some countries do it a little differently, and our solutions are built to accommodate those different procedures. Anywhere from Brazil's nota fiscal requirements, Canada's taxes, to Finland's XML transaction requirements. We've seen and experienced it all. Finally, of the 17 subsidiaries globally, ReadSoft North America subsidiary is the largest with a depth of process, project, and support experience. These 17 subsidiaries span 6 continents and offer localization to 70 countries. So what are your options? I talked about the scalability of our solution and our ability to provide options. So let's take a look at our solution specific to your interest, the Microsoft Dynamics solution. All these offerings allow for an automated receipt of invoices, vendor determination, and elimination of manual data entry. We use a semi-structured OCR technology that does not require the building of templates for every supplier. Additionally, with all these options, ReadSoft offers an e-invoicing vendor portal and a business network platform to help you start the transition from paper to electronic invoice receipt and collaborate even those more closely with your suppliers. Capture and validation are options for AP organizations who would like to handle coding and approval within the Dynamics ERP process. It is designed for users of AX 2012 and GP 2015, which has workflow capability inherent to the current or future releases. It will require some functional and technical knowledge within the Dynamics workflow tools. In this scenario, ReadSoft provides a single point of entry and tracking for invoices, offering data capture to reduce manual data entry, along with validating information, checking for duplicates, and other automated routines. The second option, this is for users of any version of Dynamics ERP and covers all of the capture and validation of invoice data, along with basic workflow tools, which can address simple coding and approval process. This option provides GL information, financial dimensions, or chart of accounts within ReadSoft solutions for coding and approval. The most capable of the three, this option additionally offers users a volume of user benefits, including a single point of entry for all incoming invoices and invoice information, including those utilizing multiple legal entities, great for processing PO and non-PO based invoices. Its predefined workflows allow for tailoring to unique processes, but includes ReadSoft's best practice AP automation and its learnings from our active 12,000 customers. The reporting functionality is user-friendly, and the mobile capabilities are really helpful to keep invoices moving, whether during business trips or other leave of absences from the office environment. Let me go ahead and briefly show you some of the highlights within this type of technology for our advanced workflow. So as you can see here, we have extracted the data, invoice number, PO number, and so on. From this process, we can go ahead and kick this off into the workflow. So I'm just going to show a couple of highlights here of our features from the capture and workflow potentials. After everything has been captured, once again minimizing or eliminating manual data entry process, it goes into the workflow. And this is what our workflow control center looks like. I'm going to show you just a quick process for non-PO. This is one of my examples as a non-PO where I can go ahead and go into full screen. And we have what we call a pre-configured coding suggestions. And what that does is it, once again, minimizes the manual data entry process and allows for more automation when it comes through here. So what I did here basically is assigned GL coding business units as well as split my amount here automatically. So that's one of the features that we have with a non-PO process. For a PO process, let me just go ahead and show you what it looks like if something does not match. What can the users do to go ahead and connect or match these lines? If I show my fully connected lines, you'll see that one line got matched here if I go into my full screen. And you can see that there's a red line, red characters here, which basically is not matched. So for user experience, basically my users can go ahead and connect lines. I'm pulling lines from my PO system, and I can go ahead and just do a drag and drop and actually match that automatically. So once again, user friendliness and ease of use. And lastly, what I'd like to show here is dashboards and reporting. This is an example of dashboards. These are exportable. You can create your own and basically drill down to as much analysis as you'd like for reporting capabilities. Okay, so that's a high level as you know, we're limited to our time. And basically, if you guys have any other questions or would like a copy of Patient Advisor's report, please reach out to me, and I will be more than happy to provide it to you. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over back to Jason.
All right, Mark, thanks so much. I'll take control back from you here. All right, so at this point, we do welcome any questions from the audience. We do have a couple that have come in, and you can ask yours now as well, anything about workflow, about document management, about tax management and automation. All those topics are really open for discussion here. In case you do want to get in touch with any of our presenters today, I know they shared their contact information, and here's just another way to note that down if you'd like. And we'll get into the questions here. So the first one that came in, and this is really an AP-based question. So at what point in the AP process could we run a report of cash required for invoices that have come into the system? We want this before invoices are approved if possible. And why don't we go sort of down the speaker order for this one, and we'll start with David. And Tim, I guess I'm kind of assuming that you didn't really want to answer this one, and I was going to start with Tim on this. I'm sorry, I was going to start with David on this.
Yeah, no problem.
And Tim, I was kind of assuming that you maybe would bow out of this one, but didn't want to presume.
Yeah, I'll defer to David.
No problem. So the simple answer is, you know, reporting can occur at any point in the process. Now, certainly anything that's not been entered in or scanned into the system is not visible, therefore not able to be reported on. But once it is scanned into the system, then a report can be generated and segregated out by status. So it could be just anything that's brand new, not been touched. It could be anything that's not been vouchered and entered into the system. So it could just report on anything along the way and in the process. So it's completely flexible in that regard.
All right, great. Bob?
And I would second that. I think, Jason, you mentioned that call was regarding being able to do an accruals or some kind of report prior to invoices being approved or going through any workflow. So, yeah, that's completely up to the customer as to when they want to take a snapshot of a cash required for invoices that have come into the system, completely user or company configurable. Same answer as I think David answered.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and Mark?
Yeah, and I would have to third that as well. I mean, it's basically ad hoc reporting. You know, anytime we have the metadata already extracted, and as long as they can query against it, it's basically user-based. They can run a report just about any time, or they can also schedule a report. So it's all dependent on the user and when they want to run that report.
All right. What is the process for preparing a new invoice for automated data capture? Is that done by a user? And why don't we start this time with Bob?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question once again, Jason?
Yeah, what is the process for preparing a new invoice for automated data capture? Is that done by a user?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now keep in mind there's multiple formats that an invoice can come in. If it's a paper invoice, that paper invoice needs to be scanned, and MetaViewer then takes that scanned image and using Accelerator, the invoice reading technology that we have that's embedded into our product, we'll use OCR to read the data from that invoice to interpret what's on the image and to translate that into real characters that can be then pushed into your Dynamics application. For electronic invoices, a whole different process occurs. MetaViewer can watch an email box where invoices are sent. And typically that's how our customers do that. So that process is automated. That does not require a human to monitor that email box and push the document into the solution. MetaViewer can actually monitor and pull the electronically delivered invoice. And in that case, we don't use OCR to read it. We use a specialized technology that actually copies and pastes the data from that invoice into MetaViewer, because that data in the invoice is text. It's not an image of text, it's real text. So that is a 100% accurate read of an invoice that is sent electronically, not like OCR, which is less than 100% accurate.
Okay, Mark, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, definitely. So for preparing just invoices in general, getting into the system for OCR, basically it has to be in an image file format. Once it's an image file format, we can take it through email as well. We can also take XML files, and from that sense, we can do an image generation of the XML file. But as far as preparation goes, the ReadSoft applications has been doing the semi-structured OCR data capture for 15, 16 years with globally. So as far as preparation goes, it's a user-based. They would basically either receive the invoice via email as an image, or if they receive it via paper, they would create an image out of it, and then the system automatically learns the data that needs to be extracted, and it stores that for later use, and basically learns in this. The applications can be taught as well for faster processing down the road. So it's all user-based, and it's basically a quick push-through for extraction.
Okay, and David.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo a lot of the same comments previously noted. I think where that question sometimes comes into play is other solutions may require, I don't suggest that was heard from the others on this call, but some other solutions do require initial setup and configuration of teaching the system how to work with that invoice, sometimes previously known as send up a template. With Bottomline solution, and I think just like I heard from the others, that's not the case here. You just simply submit it. There's capabilities built in to try to automatically find the information that it needs on the document. It learns on the fly, and therefore you just treat it like it's anything else. And then as it goes through the system the first time, it's learning, and then as a subsequent pass-throughs, and you'll have more success in the capture. And then likewise, there's the ability to receive things via email as well as electronic files. So, good question, and I think you see all pretty well got it covered.
All right, great. Well, we are nearing the top of the hour here, and we're at the end of our question queue. I'll make a final call for questions, and then in the meantime, we'll start wrapping up. I want to remind folks that there is a very brief survey to fill out as you depart today. Please look for that to pop up. We really do appreciate your feedback, and our speakers do as well. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to just say thanks to our 4 presenters today, Tim, David, Mark, and Bob. Great job. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
And thanks to the audience. Thanks for the questions and your attention. We really appreciate it. And this concludes the event. Have a great day.